Okay, welcome back. Today, real quick video on discrimination training and stimulus transfer control. This is a continuation of my task list training series. So check out the previous ones, going all through the entire task list, hitting each one, giving you terms, definitions, and questions. So I hope you enjoy. If you need any study materials, please check out our website or one of these links, which I will put in the comments and descriptions below. If you are studying right now, study hard. Any questions come up, please let me know. I'm happy to help. Other than that, let's get into it. Let's start here. C7 of the task list, discrimination training. So discrimination training is very important, okay, especially for early learners and young kiddos, okay? In discrimination training, you're teaching them to distinguish or distinguish two different items, okay, two different things. So the most obvious ones are colors and shapes and animals and categories and basic stuff like that, right? That's where it starts. It starts early, okay? We're discriminating between blue and red, which square, circle, okay? And then as they get older, it becomes a little more advanced, all the way into things like safety skills, okay? You touch the oven when it's off, not when it's on, okay? You don't take this medicine. This is not your medicine. This is your medicine. Okay. So you can see how these skills, our ability, okay, to identify the differences between objects and people and things, okay, is very important. All right. You need to be able to discriminate between people who know you, people you can trust, and people you don't know, like strangers. Okay. That's where stranger danger comes from, right? That's a stranger. We don't talk to them. Okay. You know these people. We talk to them, okay? So discrimination might seem like a basic thing, and it is in the beginning, right? But remember, we're always building up towards bigger and more important skills, okay? So what is discrimination training? Responses are reinforced in the presence of one stimulus condition, the SD, but not in the presence of another. Basically, if I say touch red, okay, and you touch red, I reinforce you. However, if I say touch red and you touch blue, I don't reinforce you, okay? So I only reinforce that response in the presence of touch red, okay, and not in any other stimulus condition. And that is how discrimination training is done, okay? It's a very straightforward procedure, but a very important procedure, okay? It involves differential reinforcement. Remember, differential reinforcement leads to discrimination and differentiation, okay? You're reinforcing one thing, everything else is on extinction, okay? One stimulus has stimulus control. So the SD of touch red has stimulus control, okay? Or the color red has stimulus control, okay? Other stimulus, the color blue, green, black, yellow, they don't have the same response, okay? It's the same thing if I was to say, point at the dog, okay? The only stimulus that should have control over pointing at the dog, right, is dogs, okay? All the other animals, right, should not evoke that response, given that scenario or that condition, okay? So very basic, very easy, okay? Discrimination training is something you'll do all the time as an RBT. So let's look at a question, all right? When your client sees a box of crayons, he asks for the blue crayon. Even if the crayon is red, yellow, or green, your client is failing to do what? So in this situation, okay, your client is asking for the blue crayon on a table of crayons, okay? But there is no blue crayon. So there's a red crayon, a yellow crayon, there's no blue crayon. So all your client is doing is asking for a crayon, but what is he not doing? Okay. Is he not differentiating? Is he not discriminating? Is he not manding, or is he not tacting? Well, he is manding, right? Because he's asking for the blue crayon. Okay. What's he failing to do? Okay. He's failing to discriminate between the different colors, right? He's asking for a blue crayon for all the crayons. Okay. So there's a failure to distinguish between these colors. That same response is happening across multiple stimulus conditions, okay, in the presence of multiple stimulus, right, when it really just needs to happen in the presence of a blue crayon. They need to ask for the red crayon, the yellow crayon, or the green crayon, okay, and that is true discriminating, okay. Your client is failing to do what? Discriminate. Another question, you want to teach your client to properly identify crayon colors. What would be the first step in doing this? Okay, so this question is asking you, where do you start in discrimination training? Okay, what do you need to know first? Is it A, when your client asks for a blue crayon, only give the blue crayon and no other color crayon? Yes, that is part of it, okay, but is that the first step, right? Not quite. There's something you need to do, okay, before you can start training, right, what you're trying to discriminate. B, deliver punishment when your client asks for the blue crayon but points at the red crayon. No, differential reinforcement discrimination training is not a punishment procedure, okay? So when your client asks for the blue crayon but points at the red crayon, you put it on extinction, okay, but you don't punish them in that scenario, okay? Now, remember, given certain circumstances, okay, maybe you might, okay, but typical discrimination training, typical differential reinforcement, right? There's no punishment involved. It's reinforcement and extinction. C, ensure that your client can identify a variety of colors. Yes, this is where you want to start, okay? When you're differentially reinforcing and you're teaching different behaviors, first thing you need to know is that behavior in their repertoire, okay? Can they even identify colors? Do they know how to label colors? Do they know the difference between colors? Do they know what colors are? Because if they don't have the skill, okay, if they don't know what red is, what a crayon is, right? How are they going to learn to discriminate between different colors, different colored crayons? They can't, okay? So you need to ensure that your client has a basic skill in their repertoire before you can teach it as an alternative behavior, okay? If the behavior is not already there, then you need to first teach the behavior, okay, in kind of a silo, right, in a teaching environment, and then you can get to discrimination, okay? So if I'm teaching you animals, I'm going to teach you what a dog is, what a cat is, okay, what a cow is, and then we're going to start learning, okay, how to discriminate between them when there's a group, okay? First things first is ensure your client has that behavior, has that response already in their repertoire. If not, you need to teach it first, okay, and then you can start discriminating and differentiating. And then D, train the client's parents on proper discriminating training interventions. This should come at some point for sure, right? Parent training is a big part of what we do, but it's not the first step, okay? This is going to come after you've already established discrimination, and then you and your BCBA can go through it with the parents. So when they're at home, they can work on it as well. So again, discrimination training, very straightforward, very easy. Okay, you should get these questions right on the test. Okay, C8, stimulus transfer control. This sounds a lot harder than it is. It freaks people out when they read it. Okay, trust me, it's a lot simpler than it looks. When you see stimulus transfer control and you're thinking about it, just think about fading a prompt. Okay, when we talk about prompts, what is a prompt? A prompt evokes a response that we want to see, right? So that prompt is what? It's acting as the SD. Okay, so the prompt becomes the SD. When we transfer stimulus control, we transfer control from the prompt to what we actually want to evoke the response. Okay, so we're just fading the prompt. So stimulus transfer controls occur when behavior evoked by one SD, okay, let's say the prompt, comes under the control of a different SD, the one we want to see. So for example, transferring control from verbal to a visual prompt, I say dog, they say dog, I reinforce. I want that behavior to come under control, the control of a picture of a dog. So next time I show the picture of a dog, I say, what's this? They say dog, I reinforce. The old SD is telling them to say the word dog. The new SD is seeing a dog and saying dog, okay? I've transferred control. And that's really all it is, right? You're just fading prompts, okay, until you get the behavior under stimulus control of your instruction or an SD, okay? So which of the following best describes stimulus transfer control? A, you're teaching shapes to a client. You reinforce the client for saying circle when they see a circle, but not a square. No, this is just differential reinforcement, right? You're teaching discrimination there. So you're not transferring control of anything. So A is out. B, your hand washing program requires you to teach the first step of the client, reinforce, and then prompt the rest of the steps. What am I describing here? I'm describing task chaining. I'm describing forward chaining. Okay, so B is a chaining procedure, but we're not transferring stimulus control. C, when teaching spelling, you have your client read the letters of the name off a page, and then you have them spell their name out loud. Okay, so what are we doing? We want them to learn to spell their name out loud. So we first start with them reading the letters off a page. Okay, so spelling is under the control of the letters on the page and seeing the letters. Okay, so I might say read your name or read the letters, and then I'm going to say spell your name. So I want them to be able to spell their name, and I want that to come under the control of me saying spell your name. Okay, So I'm transferring control from the letters on the page to me saying, spell it out loud. And then D, your client screams throughout the day. Anytime your client isn't screaming, you praise them and hand them an M&M. This is just a DRO procedure, differential reinforcement of other behaviors. Okay. So the best answer here is C, right? It's the best example of these 4 of stimulus transfer control. Remember, on the test, we want the best answer. Here, the best answer is C. And then finally, what is the primary goal of stimulus transfer control procedures? Is it to fade response prompts, to removal of prompts until the proper SD revokes the response, or to change what evokes a behavior? So A is right, okay? You want to fade response prompts, right? Initially, you're evoking the response with help. You're giving them help to get the right response. We want to fade those response prompts, okay, until the behavior is evoked on their own without any prompts. So A is correct. B, removal of prompts until the proper SD evokes the response. Yes, right? Fade prompts, remove all our prompts, okay? We want to remove all the prompts, right? Until all we have to give is the right instruction or the right SD and the behavior happens. So B is right. And then C, change what evokes a behavior. Of course, right? Because our SD evokes a behavior. And when we're transferring stimulus control, what are we doing? We're transferring control from one SD to another. So we're changing what evokes that behavior. The answer here is D, all of the above. Okay, quick video today. I hope it helped. I tried to do this one quicker because these are 2 that give people trouble. And I want to stress, okay, and point out that they're not as hard as they look when you first read them. Okay, so look at these a few times, start to really understand what's going on. Okay, and don't get intimidated, right, by some of the words and the language. Okay, because all you're doing is taking what you know, what you should know already. Okay, and now we're starting to build up into actual procedures and interventions. Okay, so keep studying hard. Any questions, please let me know. More videos coming next week. Okay, so please like and subscribe if you did enjoy it. As always, study hard and have a great weekend.